there, it's Stephanie with Project Vibrancy. I'm here on Friday instead of Thursday this week. I had a photo shoot yesterday, but I wanted to make sure to pop in before the weekend because I wanted to talk about really boosting your immune system, or at least taking really good care of your immune system in the season of cold and flu and viruses. And, I've gotten a lot of questions about supplements maybe that people could be taking. And what I'd really like to focus on is, this isn't going to surprise you, I'd like to talk about food because it's the most important source of the nutrients that support our immune system. And I think other than, washing your hands and, not being around people who are sick, of course, the third most important thing that you can do is to make sure that you are eating as many nutrients as entirely possible, because all of these systems, all the immune system functions of our body are powered by the nutrients in food. Sometimes it's hard to remember that because we get so focused on calories and protein and fat and carbs and, thinking about food as energy, but and certainly those things are important. We're eating for those macronutrients and we're eating for the calories, but we're also eating for the micronutrients, and our body depends on those. And so if you're wanting your immune system to be in tip-top shape, then I sort of suggest this coin kind of metaphor idea, and that is to sort of think on one side of the coin of things to avoid that are really taxing for your body and can be taxing for your immune system. These are not things that are going to super surprise you, but if you know that you have sensitivity to certain foods, if you know that you're sensitive to gluten, if you know that you're sensitive to eggs, if you know that dairy doesn't really agree with you, and certainly if you have, sensitivities to or full-on allergies to other foods like nuts, then it's really important at this time to avoid those foods. They take a big toll on your body to be eating foods that you're having reactions to. It causes inflammation and it really just puts you in a more vulnerable position. So this is a great time to avoid junk food, anything with highly processed flour, anything with sugar, anything with crummy fats, industrial fats like soybean oil, canola oil, peanut oil, all of those inflammatory fats. This would be a great time to just sort of eliminate them. This is why I work with the paleo template, by the way, because it just automatically takes those things away and it makes it really easy. A lot of packaged and processed food is just kind of off the table with a focus instead on eating real food. But this is a great time to avoid those things. It's also a great time to avoid drinking too much alcohol. I know that it sounds, there's something logical sounding about drinking alcohol, that it might kill viruses, or, we do hot toddies, with bourbon in them or whatever. And that can feel very good when you have a sore throat. But for the most part, alcohol is incredibly taxing to your immune system. And so you want to actually be avoiding it, not indulging. Sorry for those of you who thought you could wipe out a virus with with a really great drink. And instead, focus on hot beverages like herbal teas and green tea and teas, basically beverages that actually give you nutrients versus, taxing your liver and your digestive system and putting your body under stress. So really take the time to sort of avoid foods like that, and instead replace them. This is why paleo ends up being so nutritious, or even going gluten-free ends up being so nutritious, is because you end up replacing those other foods with, real food, and then the number of nutrients you're eating goes up, and it makes you feel so much better, and you get all this energy, and it's because you're actually eating more nutrients. It's not even that much about like the carbs and fat and protein. And so these are my quick tricks for adding nutrients to meals. I buy some kale or red cabbage. I kind of mix it up depending on the week. And I buy, the clamshell packages of, spinach and arugula. And for the kale and the cabbage, I just chop it and put it in a container and pop it in my fridge. And I eat so many more greens and colored veggies because I do that. And those types of vegetables are very hardy and they stand up to being chopped and, storing for a week. They don't completely go to mush. If you do buy the clamshell packages of spinach and arugula, which are more tender greens, then what I do is I open up that clamshell package and I fold a paper towel in half and put that in the package and then shut the lid. And it absorbs a lot of the moisture and it will stay fresh for an entire week if you do that. So if you've got a combination of those things, just start including them at every meal and really focus on not eating the same meal over and over again. Try to really get some variety so that you get more nutrients. Different foods have different nutrients, and if you're eating a little bit more widely, then you're covering your bases a lot better. And start eating greens and vegetables for breakfast. So whether you do eggs or whether you're, can't do eggs because you're following the autoimmune protocol or you have an egg allergy, doing a hash by throwing some of those veggies into a pan and sauteing them with bacon or with sausage, perhaps adding broth on top and turning it into a lovely soup in the morning. Really thinking about savory breakfasts, the way the rest of the world eats breakfast actually, can help you boost the number of nutrients that you eat in a huge way. I even love to have salad for breakfast, or I'll do a combination of cool greens and then I'll fry some potatoes or sweet potatoes and put that on top. And that hot and cool combination and then doing a great condiment, salad dressing on top of that is an amazing breakfast. It's also a quick lunch. It's also a quick dinner. But just start to get in the habit of eating vegetables for every meal, not just for lunch or not just for dinner, but also for breakfast too. If you do eat fruit, make sure to make it really bright colored fruit. So dark red cherries, organic or wild blueberries. If you can handle citrus, obviously the vitamin C is great at this time of year. I like to include all of those things in smoothies. I've got a smoothie recipe on my blog, Fresh Tart. I've got a smoothie recipe in my new cookbook, the 30-Minute Paleo Cookbook, that includes those dark cherries and berries. And then I also sometimes will include a beet or a part of a beet, or I buy beet powder on Amazon, and it's a great thing to add to smoothies and just, bumps up that nutrient density. I basically start every meal by thinking, how can I layer as many nutrients into this meal as entirely possible? Where can I sneak in extra vegetables? If I'm cooking some rice, I will throw some greens in with it, or I'll stir scallions into it, or I'll put collagen in it. Like, I never just make plain rice, or I cook it in bone broth. If I am, doing a salad, then I'm always thinking of other layers and other things I can put on it. I'll put some pepitas because I can eat seeds at this stage. And then I will also add some radishes, and I'll also add, maybe some dried fruit or something like that, just so that I'm getting as many nutrients as possible and really thinking of it as a challenge even to find nutrients and to layer it in to as many parts of a meal as you can. Protein is incredibly nutritious. Meat is some of the most nutrient-dense food that we consume. I know vegetables get a lot of attention for that, but really organ meats like liver are the most nutrient-dense foods. And even if you're not a huge fan, if you can do chicken liver pate or duck liver pate, if you can, enjoy like lingua tacos when you go out for tacos, just find other ways to work some organ meats that you enjoy into your diet. They're incredibly nutritious. And then pick wild fish, like wild salmon, obviously incredibly nutritious, but all of the wild sustainably caught fish. I think canned fish works really well too. Cured salmon is beautiful. There are lots of ways to work more fish into your diet. It's an incredibly nutrient dense. And then choosing grass-fed beef, choosing, the highest quality pork, the, pastured chicken, pastured eggs. They all have, a better fat profile than conventionally raised if you can afford to spend the extra money, and then they're also extra delicious too. So there's that bonus. And then really work with high quality fats. So I would personally just eliminate fats like canola oil, peanut oil, safflower, sunflower. Those are really, really basically unstable fats. They're not really meant to be heated, even if they're refined. And they are very high in omega-6 fats. And that profile of high, too many omega-6 fats to omega-3 fats is really inflammatory, and it's really hard to eat enough omega-3 fats to sort of balance it out. So the solution is to instead cook with extra virgin olive oil, cook with some coconut oil, cook with some ghee or butter, cook with avocado oil, cook with animal fats. They're incredibly stable at high heat. So saving bacon drippings or cooking with duck fat, like to roast potatoes or something. That works a lot better than using those other fats. And I really notice the difference I notice it when I eat out, because most restaurants have to use canola oil, and it makes me feel really terrible, actually. And then, focusing on probiotics and really thinking about gut health. When you're eating a lot of veggies, it's great for your gut health. When you're eating good quality starches, it's good for your gut health. I personally can't get by without taking good probiotics also. Eating probiotic foods, I eat some, but they have a lot of histamine in them and they don't make me feel that great. And so I get probiotics by taking probiotics. I personally love Gut Pro and ProFlora 4R. One is a traditional probiotic, one is a spore-based, and the two together have just been like magic for me. I'm saying that with a caveat that it's incredibly individual how probiotics work for you, but those are just two that I have had unbelievable luck with, and they're both really super high quality. And then there's lifestyle factors like, getting exercise. It's a great time to do saunas, whether you have one at your gym or you can find one at a spa, or I have a portable one that's kind of like a little pop-up tent that I use just in my apartment. I keep it in my office. That high heat exposure is known to be immune boosting, and doing it, 3-4 times a week can really convey those benefits, among other benefits too. It feels great. It's a great place to meditate. Meditation has actually been shown to improve immune function, so you can kind of combine the two together. That's what I do. And so that's a little lifestyle intervention: sauna, meditation, obviously getting extra sleep, great sleep. This is not the time to be burning the candle at both ends. This is the time to be getting as much quality sleep as you possibly can pull off. And then I do things like when I come back from being in a crowd, certainly I'm washing my hands, like everybody is, and hopefully everyone was all along, finding it a little disturbing how focused everyone is on hand washing. And hopefully that just always is true and continues on. Otherwise, it's kind of disgusting. But anyway, in addition, I keep a saline spray or a neti pot. And if I've been in a big crowd of people, I'll just do a nasal rinse when I get home. Because those viruses, as you know, they enter the body through, we have them on their hands, we touch our eyes, we breathe them into our nose, we, touch our faces. It's very difficult to not touch your face as soon as you decide not to. And because of course you can't stop thinking about it, and then you have an itch here and whatever. But it's better to be washing your hands, and then I do this nasal rinse with a fresh saline bottle, not one that I used while I was had a cold or something. And that can just be a little extra layer of protection. And then I believe in supplements. As much as I focus on nutrients, and I talk about it all the time, and you guys know what I eat because I put it all over Instagram and whatever. I eat a lot of very nutrient dense food. However, I do supplement, especially at this time of year, with vitamin D and K2 together. I wouldn't do vitamin D without the K2. I take vitamin A. I don't take it every day. Vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin A are all fat-soluble vitamins, which means that you can store excess. And so I try not to super overdose on those. So I maybe kind of pulse them and take them every other day or every few days, unless I feel a tickle in my throat or feel like I've been exposed to something. And then I'll actually do pretty high doses for 2 days because your immune system really draws on those particular vitamins when it's trying to fight something off. I take a B complex every day, and I take vitamin C every day. And if I have a tickle in my throat, then I use activated zinc lozenges. There's a brand called Life Extension. You can get it on Amazon. They're not delicious, and they look like a horse pill. They're huge. But they take 30 minutes to dissolve, and they just sort of bathe your throat in zinc, and they have been very effective in helping me hold off getting sick, actually, for years now, knock on wood. And I use elderberry also. If I feel like something is coming on, then I'll add an elderberry boost, because that boosts your immune system as well. So those are my tips and tricks. Avoiding inflammatory foods, eating a lot of nutrient-dense foods, doing some lifestyle interventions like really being careful about sleep, meditation. I use sauna. I make sure that I'm getting exercise, getting exposure to sunlight. Melatonin is really important for our immune system, and that's regulated by being exposed to sun in the morning. And then I do the additional saline spray or neti pot during this time of year if I've been around big crowds of people, or if I got off an airplane. I'm not traveling right now, but if I were, I would definitely have that with me. And then making sure that I'm supplementing with vitamins D and K2, vitamin A, B complex, vitamin C, and using zinc lozenges as needed. So I will stop there. This is probably even longer than I intended, but I've had a lot of questions about any tips or tricks that I have, and those are my tips and tricks. So, all right, you guys. Well, please share this if you found it helpful. None of these things are crazy. They're all pretty intuitive, but when you put them all together, it really makes a big difference. And stay healthy out there. I will be back next week. I'm going to put a couple of links below, by the way. One, if you're here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, I'm having a book launch party on Monday, March 16th at the Lynn Hall, and I would love to see you. They're going to sell books, but if you've already bought one, well, you wouldn't have had it yet. Possibly. Anyway, they're going to be selling books there. I'm going to be doing a book signing, just, chatting with people, and I would love to see you there. I'll put a link below for signing up for that. I will put a link to the book that the launch is about, the 30-minute paleo book, cookbook, and then I'm also going to put a link below to the other book that I had come out at the same time. Basically, it's an ebook called Kick-Ass Condiments, and it's a great way, actually. Didn't mean to sort of connect these two, but it does make sense that the condiments that I've put in the book are incredibly nutrient dense. Herbs are some of the most powerful plants on the planet. In fact, many medications are derived from some of the most popular herbs that we use in cooking, and all of the condiments in that book are based on fresh food and are purposely very nutrient dense, made with healthy fats, made with fresh citrus, also, garlic and scallions, and those are all very nutrient dense foods. So I'll put a link to Kick-Ass Condiments below too. That's only $12. It's a very cheap intervention. So all right, that's it. I'll see you next week. As I said, stay healthy, have a great weekend, and take care. And let me know if you have questions. Bye.